The massive holographic screen flickered to life across 10,000 worlds. Billions of alien species watched with a mix of curiosity and cold indifference. The screen showed a dark metallic platform suspended in the endless black of space, where 70,000 human bodies hung like grotesque marionettes. Park Jae-sung sat in the communications center of the United States Interstellar Marine Corps headquarters. His hands were clenched so tightly that his knuckles turned white. The veins on his neck pulsed as he watched the broadcast. Around him, hundreds of communication officers sat frozen, their mouths open in shock. The platform was massive, stretching nearly 2 kilometers in length. Metallic cables hung from its upper structure, each cable supporting multiple human bodies. They were not just bodies. They were colonists. Men, women, and children from New Texas, an American frontier colony located in the outer rim of explored space. A booming voice echoed through the communication center. It was the official translator of the Galactic Conclave, speaking in perfect English with a chilling mechanical tone. Humans of Earth, witness the punishment for violation of Galactic Territorial Agreement 7 Delta. These colonists illegally settled on protected territories. Their actions threatened the delicate balance of interstellar peace. Park Jae-sung's fingers flew across his holographic keyboard. He was recording every single detail of the transmission. Something felt wrong. The broadcast was too clean, too perfect. Years of military training had taught him that perfect presentations often hid ugly truths. In the background of the execution platform, alien representatives from various species watched. Some looked bored. Others seemed almost pleased. Their various forms ranged from crystalline beings that shifted like living glass to massive reptilian creatures with scales that reflected the starlight. The hanging platform slowly rotated, giving a complete view of the executed humans. They were dressed in simple colonist clothing, work shirts, protective gear, some still wearing agricultural tools. Families hung together, parents positioned near their children, couples holding hands even in death. Each body represents a violation of interstellar law. The mechanical voice continued. The Galactic Conclave finds the United States of Earth guilty of systematic territorial expansion and resource theft. Across the room, Kim Hyun-woo, the senior military strategist, walked in. His face was a mask of controlled anger. He stood behind Park Jae-sung, watching the broadcast with burning eyes. "Are you recording everything?" Hyun-woo asked. Park nodded. "Every single frame. Something is not right about this transmission." The broadcast continued. Each hanging body was given a brief introduction. Names, ages, their specific crimes against the Galactic Conclave. A young woman named Sarah Miller was highlighted. She was a diplomatic representative of the New Texas colony, and she was positioned near the center of the platform. Unlike other bodies, Sarah Miller was still alive. Her head was raised, looking directly into the camera. Even in this moment of absolute horror, her expression showed defiance. The mechanical voice gave final remarks. "Let this be a warning to all human colonies. The Galactic Conclave does not tolerate violations." Then, suddenly, the transmission ended. For several moments, the communication center was completely silent. Hundreds of military personnel stared at the now blank screens. The weight of what they had just witnessed pressed down on them like a physical force. Park Jae-sung was the first to move. His fingers danced across the keyboard, initiating emergency protocols. Hyun-woo was already speaking into his communication device, alerting High Command. The United States of Earth had just received a message, and the response would be nothing short of total war. Outside the communication center's windows, Earth continued to spin. Cities glowed. Ships moved between orbital stations, but everything had changed in the span of those few broadcast minutes. Humanity would never be the same again. The United States Interstellar Marine Corps headquarters buzzed with a fury unlike anything in recent history. Screens flickered with data, communication lines burned with urgent messages, and the air felt thick with rage and determination. Park Jae-sung sat at his main communication station, his fingers moving faster than most humans could follow. He had discovered something hidden within the Galactic Conclave's broadcast, a series of encrypted signals buried deep in the transmission's background noise. "Sir," he called out to Kim Hyun-woo, "I found something strange." Hyun-woo walked over, his military-issue boots making sharp sounds against the metallic floor. He leaned over Jae-sung's shoulder, studying the complex patterns of data dancing across the holographic display. "These are not random signals," Jae-sung explained. "They're intentionally hidden. Someone wanted us to find these." The encrypted messages told a different story from the official Galactic Conclave broadcast. Fragments of communication suggested that the new Texas colony had been set up. The resource dispute was manufactured. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, someone had planned this massacre. Across the room, a young communication specialist named Lee Min-ji suddenly stood up. Her face was pale. "We're receiving a transmission from a surviving New Texas colonist." The room went silent. A holographic image flickered to life. It showed a woman in a damaged spacesuit, her face bruised but determined. Sarah Miller, the diplomatic representative they had seen in the execution broadcast, was alive. "This is Sarah Miller from New Texas Colony," she said, her voice breaking. "I managed to escape during the initial attack. We were betrayed. The resource dispute was a lie. Someone wanted us dead." Her transmission provided critical information. The New Texas colony had discovered something valuable on their planet, something the Galactic Conclave wanted to keep secret. Miller described strange mineral deposits that could revolutionize space travel, deposits that could potentially break the Conclave's monopoly on faster-than-light technology. Kim Hyun-woo's eyes narrowed. "This changes everything," he muttered. Within hours, the United States government went into full alert mode. Military bases across Earth and its colonies began massive mobilization efforts. Ships that were once used for exploration and trade were being rapidly converted into weapons of war. The President of the United States addressed the nation. Her speech was broadcast across every communication channel. "Today, we have witnessed an act of genocide. 70,000 of our citizens were murdered in cold blood. The Galactic Conclave believes they can intimidate us. They are wrong. We will find justice. We will make them pay." Military recruitment centers were suddenly overwhelmed. Young men and women who had never considered military service now lined up, eager to join the fight. The attack had awakened something deep in the human spirit, a collective rage that would not be easily stopped. Park Jae-sung continued decoding the hidden messages. Each decoded fragment revealed more of the complex plot against the New Texas colony. It wasn't just about resources. It was about control. The Galactic Conclave feared human potential. In a private meeting room, military leaders gathered. Holographic maps showed potential attack routes. Strategic points were marked. Plans were being drawn. "We're not just going to respond," Kim Hyun-woo told the assembled generals. "We're going to make them regret ever touching an American citizen." Outside the meeting room, Sarah Miller continued her transmission. She was sharing every detail she knew about the Galactic Conclave's operations. Her information would become crucial in the coming conflict. The United States Interstellar Marine Corps was preparing for war, and they would make sure the galaxy understood one simple truth: you do not mess with Americans. Night fell on Earth, but nobody was sleeping. The machinery of war was spinning up, fueled by grief, anger, and an unbreakable desire for justice. The United Nations headquarters in New York looked more like a war room than a place of peaceful discussion. Diplomats from around the world sat with grim faces, watching the live feed from the Galactic Conclave's official response. A holographic image of the Conclave's chief diplomat materialized in the center of the room. The alien looked like a mix between a silver tree and a complex machine, with shifting crystalline surfaces that seemed to breathe and move. The execution was legal under Galactic Territorial Agreement 7 Delta, the alien representative stated coldly. Its voice was a mechanical whisper that seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once. Park Jae-sung sat in the observation area, his fingers tapping rapidly on a communication device. Next to him, Kim Hyun-woo watched the proceedings with a look of controlled anger. The alien continued. The human colony on New Texas violated clear territorial markers. They illegally mined restricted resources. The punishment was prescribed by galactic law. United States Ambassador Rachel Thompson stood up. She was known for her calm demeanor, but today her voice trembled with barely contained rage. 70,000 civilians, she said. Men, women, and children. Executed without trial. This is not justice. This is murder. The alien representative's crystalline surface flickered. Emotional arguments do not change galactic law. Behind the scenes, military preparations were moving at lightning speed. Every major human military base was now on full combat alert. Ships that were once used for exploration and trade were being quickly converted into weapons of war. Sarah Miller, the surviving diplomatic representative from New Texas, provided critical intelligence. Her encrypted communications revealed something more sinister than a simple territorial dispute. The mineral deposits we discovered, she explained in a secured transmission, they're not just valuable. They could change everything about space travel. The Conclave doesn't want humans to have this technology. In military planning rooms, Kim Hyun-woo reviewed the information. The minerals found on New Texas could potentially create faster-than-light travel engines that would break the Galactic Conclave's monopoly on interstellar transportation. This isn't about territory, Hyun-woo told his team. This is about keeping humanity controlled. The United Nations took a historic vote. With an overwhelming majority, they declared a state of total war against the Galactic Conclave. Every human colony, every space station, every military resource would be committed to this conflict. Recruitment centers were overwhelmed. Young men and women who had never considered military service now lined up around the block. The broadcast of the execution had awakened something deep in human society, a collective anger that would not be easily stopped. Schools canceled classes. Factories stopped normal production. The entire human civilization began to reshape itself for war. We are not asking for permission anymore, the United States President announced in a global broadcast. We are demanding justice. The Galactic Conclave's response was swift and brutal. They began cutting off communication with human colonies. Trade routes were blocked. Economic sanctions were imposed. But humans had something the Conclave did not understand. When pushed into a corner, humans did not break. They fought back harder. Park Jae-sung continued decoding hidden messages from the original execution broadcast. Each decoded fragment revealed more of the complex plot against the New Texas colony. This was planned, he told Hyun-woo. They wanted to provoke us. They wanted a war. Hyun-woo nodded. Then we'll give them a war they'll never forget. In space stations and military bases across human territories, a new kind of preparation began. This would not be a traditional war. This would be a fight for survival. A fight to show the galaxy that humanity would not be controlled or exterminated. The first shots had been fired, not with weapons, but with a broadcast that murdered 70,000 innocent people. Now, humanity would respond. The Special Operations Team moved like shadows through the alien space station. They wore advanced stealth suits that bent light around their bodies, making them almost invisible to standard detection systems. Park Ji-hoon led the team. He was a veteran of 100 covert missions, with eyes that had seen more darkness than most humans could imagine. His team consisted of 5 of the most skilled Marines in human history, each one trained to operate in environments that would kill a normal person in seconds. Their mission was simple but deadly: infiltrate the Galactic Conclave's primary communication relay station and destroy its core systems. The station looked like a massive metallic spider floating in the endless black of space. Its arms stretched out in multiple directions, each arm containing complex communication arrays that connected thousands of alien worlds. "Breach point confirmed," whispered Lieutenant Kim Min-ji, the team's communication specialist. Her fingers moved across a holographic interface, creating digital pathways that would allow them to slip past alien security systems. Sarah Miller's earlier intelligence had provided them with critical information. She had discovered secret access codes during her time as a diplomatic representative. Those codes were now the key to their entire operation. The team moved through a series of airlocks. Each movement was calculated. Each breath was controlled. They were not just soldiers. They were ghosts. Ji-hoon's augmented eye scanned the corridor. Alien symbols flickered on the walls. The station's internal environment was designed for multiple species. Some areas were freezing cold. Others were filled with toxic gases that would kill a human in moments. Target is 3 kilometers ahead, Minji reported. Security systems are complex, but not unbreakable. Their mission had multiple objectives. First, destroy the communication relay. Second, download as much data as possible. Third, leave no trace of human involvement. A group of alien security guards approached. They looked like walking metal creatures with multiple arms and sensor arrays. Ji-hoon's team didn't even break their stride. Minji had already hacked the station's internal systems. To these guards, the humans were invisible. Data transfer at 62%, Minji whispered. The central communication core was massive. It looked like a giant brain made of crystal and metal, with thousands of data streams flowing through its center. Each stream represented communication between different alien worlds. Ji-hoon placed a specialized device on the core's main input system. It looked like a simple metal disc, but inside was a weapon more dangerous than any bomb. A quantum virus that would destroy the entire communication network. Virus deployed, he said simply. Across thousands of worlds, alien communication systems began to fail. Messages disappeared. Navigation systems went dark. For the first time, the Galactic Conclave would feel what it was like to be blind. Mission complete, Ji-hoon reported back to headquarters. Kim Hyun-woo received the transmission in the United States Interstellar Marine Corps Command Center. A small smile crossed his face. The first strike had been made. The team's extraction was just as smooth as their infiltration. They moved through the dying space station like ghosts, leaving no evidence of their presence. Back on their stealth ship, Ji-hoon reviewed the downloaded data. What they had stolen would change everything. Proof of the conspiracy. Details of why the New Texas colony was really destroyed. "We're coming for you," he whispered to the endless darkness of space. The first covert operation was complete, and this was just the beginning. Humanity had entered the war. Kim Hyun-woo stood in front of a massive holographic display, his fingers tracing lines of complex data. The room was silent except for the soft hum of advanced computer systems. Behind him, Park Jae-sun watched with intense concentration. "Look at this," Hyun-woo said, his voice low and serious. The holographic display showed a series of interconnected documents, star charts, communication logs, financial records. Each piece was like a puzzle, and Hyun-woo was putting them together. Sarah Miller, the surviving diplomat from New Texas, had provided the initial breakthrough. But what Hyun-woo had discovered went far beyond her original intelligence. The New Texas colony wasn't just a random target, he explained. It was a carefully planned operation. The evidence showed a complex conspiracy. Multiple alien species within the Galactic Conclave had worked together to create a false narrative. The resource dispute was completely fabricated. The mineral deposits on New Texas were worth far more than anyone had originally thought. These minerals, Hyun-woo pointed to a specific section of the holographic display, could change everything about space travel. The minerals found on New Texas could create engines that would make faster-than-light travel as easy as driving a car. Currently, only the Galactic Conclave had this technology. If humans gained access, it would break their monopoly on interstellar transportation. Park Jae-sun leaned closer. They wanted to prevent us from developing this technology. Hyun-woo nodded. Worse, they wanted to eliminate anyone who might discover it. The conspiracy went deep. Financial records showed payments between different alien species. Communication logs revealed secret meetings. Military deployment plans were hidden in what looked like simple trade agreements. We're not just dealing with one species, Jae-sung realized. This is a coordinated effort to keep humanity controlled. A secure communication channel opened. Sarah Miller appeared in holographic form. Despite her recent trauma, her eyes burned with determination. "I've been analyzing the data from my time on New Texas," she said. "The mineral we discovered isn't just valuable. It's revolutionary. The mineral could create stable wormhole generators. Imagine traveling between star systems in minutes instead of years." The Galactic Conclave had kept this technology to themselves for centuries. "They execute us to keep their power," Sarah continued. 70,000 lives mean nothing to them if it protects their control. Military planners began to see the full picture. This wasn't just about a single colony. This was about preventing human expansion, about keeping humanity as a second-class species in the galactic community. Hyunwoo started developing a comprehensive counter-strategy. If the Galactic Conclave wanted to play a complex game, humans would become masters of that game. "We need to hit them where it hurts," he told his team. Their communication networks, their economic systems, their belief that we're weak. Recruitment centers were now packed. Young people who had watched the execution broadcast were signing up for military service. The anger was turning into focused determination. The United States President received the full report. Her response was simple and direct. Prepare for total war. Factories that once made consumer goods now produced warships. Universities redirected research into military technology. Every resource, every person, every system was being prepared for a conflict that would determine humanity's future. "They thought killing 70,000 of us would break our spirit," Hyunwoo said, looking at the holographic display. They were wrong. Outside the window, Earth continued to spin, but everything had changed. Humanity was no longer going to ask for permission. They were going to take what was theirs. The turning point had arrived. The entire planet of Earth transformed overnight. Cities that once hummed with peaceful commerce now buzzed with military energy. Every system, every resource, every person became part of a massive war machine. In orbital shipyards that circled the planet, massive warships took shape. These were not exploration vessels or trade ships. These were weapons designed to bring total destruction to the Galactic Conclave. Park Ji-hoon stood in the main shipyard, watching as a new class of battleship was assembled. The ship was called the U.S. New Texas, named after the colony that had been destroyed. It was more than a ship. It was a promise of revenge. "We're building something they've never seen before," said the lead engineer, Lee Min-ki. Her hands moved across holographic displays, adjusting complex design specifications. The ship used the mineral technology discovered on the original New Texas colony. Each engine could create micro-wormholes, allowing instant transportation across vast distances. No alien species had ever achieved this level of faster-than-light travel. Recruitment centers were overwhelmed. Young men and women who had never considered military service now lined up around the block. The execution broadcast had awakened something deep in human society, a collective anger that would not be stopped. Universities stopped normal research. Every scientific department was now focused on military technology. Physics departments worked on weapon designs. Engineering teams developed new types of armor. Medical research focused on treatments for space combat injuries. Kim Hyunwoo oversaw the entire preparation effort. His office was a hub of constant activity. Communication screens showed preparation efforts from every human colony. Maps tracked ship construction. Charts showed military recruitment numbers. "We're not just preparing for a war," Hyunwoo told his top commanders. "We're preparing to change the entire galactic power structure." Factories that once made cars and consumer electronics now produced military equipment. Entire production lines were converted overnight. Robots and automated systems worked around the clock, building ships, weapons, and military gear. Sarah Miller, the surviving diplomat from the New Texas colony, became a symbol of resistance. Her speeches were broadcast across human territories. She told the story of the massacre. She explained the mineral technology. She became the voice of human anger. "They thought killing us would make us afraid," she said in one famous broadcast. "Instead, they made us unstoppable." The United Nations passed emergency powers. Every human colony was now under military control. Resources were redirected. Non-essential activities were canceled. The entire human civilization was becoming a single, focused war machine. Agricultural systems were redesigned to maximize food production for military needs. Water recycling systems were upgraded. Energy production was increased. Every system was optimized for total war. Space stations that were once used for peaceful research were converted into military bases. Orbital defense platforms were upgraded with new weapons technologies. Entire sections of human-controlled space were fortified. Medical research took massive leaps. New treatments were developed for space combat injuries. Cybernetic enhancement programs were fast-tracked. Soldiers would be given abilities that seemed like science fiction. "We are not just fighting for revenge," Hyun-woo told his team. "We are fighting for our right to exist in this galaxy." Communication networks were secured. New encryption technologies were developed. The humans would not allow the Galactic Conclave to spy or interfere with their preparations. Park Jae-sung continued analyzing the stolen data from the covert mission. Each piece of information helped them understand their enemy better. Each decoded message revealed more about the Conclave's weaknesses. The U.S. New Texas was completed first. It was more than a ship. It was a message to the Galactic Conclave. Humanity was coming, and they would not be stopped. In every home, in every colony, in every space station, humans prepared. The anger from the execution broadcast had turned into something more. A cold, calculated determination to survive, to win, to show the galaxy that humanity would not be controlled. The preparation for total war was complete. The U.S. New Texas hung in space like a silent predator. Its hull was dark, absorbing light instead of reflecting it. Inside, Park Ji-hoon stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the holographic displays showing the Galactic Conclave's home system. "All systems ready," announced Lieutenant Kim Min-ji from her communication station. The first major human counterattack was about to begin. This was more than a military operation. This was humanity's statement to the galaxy. Intelligence gathered from Sarah Miller's data and the previous covert missions had revealed the perfect target. The Conclave's central administrative planet was vulnerable. Its defenses were complex, but had predictable patterns. "Target identified," Ji-hoon said calmly. "Prepare micro-wormhole jump." The ship's new engine technology was revolutionary. Where alien ships took days or weeks to cross star systems, the U.S. New Texas could jump instantly. The mineral technology discovered on the original New Texas colony had changed everything. Thousands of human ships waited just outside the target system. Each was equipped with the new faster-than-light technology. Each carried the rage of 70,000 executed colonists. The first wave would be psychological, not destruction. Something worse. Massive holographic projections appeared across the entire Conclave system. They showed the faces of the 70,000 executed Americans. Each face told a story. Each image was a reminder of the massacre. "We remember," the projections said in multiple alien languages. "We are coming." Alien communication systems went dark. Panic began to spread across Conclave worlds. The U.S. New Texas struck first, not with weapons, but with information. Stolen data from previous missions was broadcast everywhere. Secrets of the Conclave's leadership, proof of their conspiracy against humanity. Every dirty political deal, every hidden resource theft. Military targets came next. The humans did not just attack. They surgically destroyed specific strategic points. Communication relays, defense platforms, supply chains. "Precision is key," Ji-hoon told his team. "We're not here to destroy everything. We're here to show them we can. Alien defense systems tried to respond, but human technology was now generations ahead. Weapon systems that the Conclave thought were impossible were now standard on human ships. Sarah Miller's research had provided critical insights. The minerals from New Texas weren't just about faster travel. They allowed for technologies that rewrote the rules of space warfare. Energy shields that could absorb entire weapon barrages. Targeting systems that could predict enemy movements before they happened. Communication disruption technologies that made alien systems look like ancient radio equipment. The first major counterattack was not about killing. It was about sending a message. You are not in control anymore. Ji-hoon broadcast on all Conclave frequencies. Entire alien military bases went silent. Not destroyed, just neutralized. Human ships moved like ghosts, striking with surgical precision. Kim Hyun-woo watched from Earth. Each report confirmed their strategy. They were not just fighting. They were demonstrating humanity's capabilities. The psychological impact was immediate. Alien species within the Conclave began to question their leadership. If humans could do this so easily, what else could they do? This is for New Texas, Park Jae-sung said, watching the live feed from the bridge of the U.S. New Texas. As quickly as the attack began, it ended. Human ships disappeared as suddenly as they had arrived. No massive destruction. No total annihilation. Just a clear, terrifying message. Humanity had arrived in the galactic stage, and they were not asking for permission anymore. The first counterattack was complete. The galaxy would never be the same. The war entered its most intense phase. Humanity was no longer defending. They were attacking with a fury that shocked the entire galaxy. Park Ji-hoon stood on the bridge of the U.S. New Texas, watching multiple star systems burn. This was not random destruction. Every target was carefully chosen. Every attack had a purpose. Assault on the Conclave's central administrative planet beginning, announced Lieutenant Kim Min-ji. The planet looked like a massive metal sphere from space. Thousands of alien species had called this world home. It was the center of galactic government, the place where decisions that affected millions of worlds were made. Humanity's attack was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They didn't just use weapons. They used information as a weapon. Stolen secrets were broadcast across every communication channel, every dark deal, every hidden conspiracy. The Conclave's leadership was exposed to the entire galaxy. Human ships moved like living shadows. They could jump between star systems in seconds. Alien defense systems that took hours to respond were neutralized before they could even activate. Sarah Miller, now a key military strategist, had helped design the attack plan. The minerals discovered on the original New Texas colony gave humans technologies that seemed like magic to other species. We're not just fighting, she told the military commanders. We're rewriting the rules of war. Rescue missions became a critical part of the strategy. Thousands of human prisoners were saved from Conclave detention centers. Each rescue was broadcast live, showing the galaxy that humanity fought for its people. Kim Hyun-woo coordinated the entire operation from Earth. His strategy was simple: hit them where it hurts most. Not just military targets, economic systems, communication networks, political structures. The U.S. New Texas led the assault. Its new engine technology allowed it to appear and disappear like a ghost. One moment, it would be attacking a military base. The next, it would be rescuing prisoners on the other side of the galaxy. Alien species began to break away from the Conclave. Some saw humanity's attack as a chance for freedom. Others were simply terrified of the new human technologies. We are not conquerors, Ji-hoon broadcast to the entire galaxy. We are liberators. Entire planetary defense systems were shut down without firing a single shot. Human technology could now hack and control alien systems faster than they could respond. The psychological warfare was as important as the physical attacks. Each mission showed the galaxy that humanity was different. They were not interested in total destruction. They wanted justice, Prisoner rescue missions became legendary. Human ships would appear out of nowhere, break into detention centers, and disappear with hundreds of prisoners from multiple species. "Anyone who wants freedom can come with us," was the message. The original 70,000 executed colonists were remembered in every mission. Their faces were projected on alien communication systems. Their stories were told and retold. Kim Hyun-woo's strategy was working. The Conclave was falling apart from the inside. Species that had been oppressed for centuries saw humanity as a hope for change. Sarah Miller helped coordinate rescue missions. Her experience as a diplomat was now a weapon. She understood how to communicate with different alien species. The U.S. New Texas became more than a ship. It was a symbol of hope, a promise that no one would be left behind. Park Jae-sung managed the massive amount of intelligence gathered during the missions. Each piece of data was another weapon, another way to show the galaxy the truth about the Conclave. As the assault continued, it became clear this was not just a war. This was a revolution. Humanity was not just fighting for themselves. They were fighting for every oppressed species in the galaxy. The reckoning had begun. The war ended not with a massive battle, but with a whimper of total defeat for the Galactic Conclave. Park Ji-hoon stood on the bridge of the U.S. New Texas, watching the final surrender transmission. Alien leaders from hundreds of species appeared on the holographic display, their bodies showing defeat and fear. "The 70,000 from New Texas are not forgotten," he said simply. Sarah Miller stood beside him. Once a diplomatic representative, now a key military strategist, she had been instrumental in bringing the war to its conclusion. Her eyes reflected the years of pain and struggle. The war had changed everything. Humanity was no longer a small, controlled species at the edge of galactic society. They were now its most powerful force. Massive holographic displays across captured Conclave worlds showed the faces of the original 70,000 executed colonists. Each face was a reminder, each image a testament to the price of their victory. Kim Hyun-woo managed the final negotiations from Earth. The terms were simple but powerful. The Conclave would be completely dismantled. New galactic governance would be established. Species that had been oppressed would now have a voice. The mineral technology discovered on the original New Texas colony became the foundation of a new era of space travel. Faster-than-light technology was now available to all species. The monopoly was broken. "We do not seek revenge," Sarah Miller told the gathered alien leaders. "We seek justice." Rescue missions had saved millions of prisoners from multiple species. Those liberated began telling their stories. The Conclave's decades of oppression were exposed to the entire galaxy. Park Jae-sung managed the massive intelligence gathering. Every secret of the Conclave was revealed. Every hidden conspiracy brought to light. Transparency became the new galactic standard. Human colonies expanded, but not through conquest. Through invitation, species that had been oppressed by the Conclave now saw humans as liberators. The U.S. New Texas became more than a ship. It became a symbol of hope, a promise that no civilization would be left behind. Military academies began teaching the New Texas campaign as a perfect example of strategic warfare. Not just about destruction, but about fundamental change. Memorials were built across human and liberated territories. The 70,000 executed colonists were remembered not as victims, but as the spark that changed everything. Economic systems were redesigned. The new galactic order was based on cooperation, not control. The mineral technology from New Texas allowed for energy and transportation solutions that benefited everyone. "We could have destroyed them completely," Ji-hoon told his crew. "But that's not who we are." Millions of alien species were freed from Conclave control. New governments formed. Old oppressive systems were dismantled. Sarah Miller helped design the new galactic governance system. Her diplomatic skills, combined with the lessons learned from the war, created a framework of mutual respect and cooperation. Kim Hyun-woo was recognized as the strategic genius behind the campaign, but he always remembered the 70,000 who started it all. The original New Texas colony became a galactic memorial. A museum was built showing the story of how 70,000 lives became the turning point for an entire galaxy. Park Jae-sung continued analyzing the massive amount of data gathered during the conflict. Each piece told a story of resistance, hope, and fundamental change. As years passed, the war became a legend, not a story of human superiority, but of human determination, a promise that no civilization would be left behind, that justice would always find a way. On the bridge of the U.S. New Texas, Ji-hoon looked out at the stars. The ship that was born from tragedy had become a symbol of hope. The 70,000 were not forgotten. They had changed everything.